Hi everyone, Coach Oriana here. I'm a life and personal performance coach, certified relationship coach, and I am sharing with you today 5 things that women do that turn men off. And the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because, one, I want the women in my community to have the opportunity to be able to show up more powerfully for the men in their lives, no matter the context of the relationship, whether it's their partners, their business partners, their sons, other people, their fathers, brothers. I want to empower you to be able to show up more powerfully in these relationships as an ally and as a supporter of men's work, men's healing, men's support. And I want you to be able to show up as your best, most empowered, most informed feminine self in these relationships, because that is the position of power, of personal power, that we operate the best in, is when we are in our feminine. And where we are in our feminine, we have the opportunity to not only create meaningful and long-lasting relationships with men, but we have the opportunity to create relationships with men that are reciprocal, so that you can get your needs met and you can get what you need and want out of relationships, and you can have more fulfilling relationships with men in your life. So 5 things that women do that turn men off. And let me know your thoughts about these in the comments. These are not in any particular order. So here we go. Number 1 is that we emasculate men. And I'm saying we because I'm including myself. I've made any number of these mistakes at different points in time in my life, and I've had to unlearn that it's, what I was doing that was causing me to show up this way. So when we emasculate men, it's extraordinarily disrespectful to them. And what we're doing, if you're not sure what emasculation means, it essentially means that we remove their masculinity, or we make their masculinity wrong, and we do that through our actions and through our words. Many times the things that we say to the men in our lives can be very, very cutting, based on what it is that we're saying and how we're saying it, when we're saying it, in front of whom we're saying it, and particularly when that man is a man in your life who loves you. And so he places a great amount of weight on your words. So when your words emasculate, or when your actions emasculate, it has an even greater impact. Outside of that, it's just extraordinarily detrimental to a man's psyche and to a boy's psyche when they are emasculated. Emasculation means also to remove their strength, remove their vigor, to challenge their, essentially their manhood. So we want to make sure that we're not operating in our relationships with men in any way where we are emasculating. The second mistake that women make in their relationships with men that is a turnoff for them is that we remove a man's purpose. And how do we do that? Well, we don't let them lead based on their strengths. And I believe very much in co-leadership in a relationship. So what that means is that you're both going to be stepping in and out of leadership throughout your relationship based on whatever the context is, but that you're going to be doing that based on your strengths. So when you have a strength, you step into leadership. When it's his strength, then he's up to bat. Now, if you're not allowing him to step into his strength and to be in service to you and to the relationship, essentially what you're saying through your actions, words, behaviors is that the value that he has to be able to contribute to the relationship either is something that you don't want, that doesn't matter to you, that you don't value, and that you don't need it. And so when we show men as women that we don't need them and that we don't need what they have to contribute to the relationship, we are telling them that they have no purpose in the relationship. And so that is a big turnoff for men. Number 3 is that we take it personal. And what I mean by that is we take their emotions and expression personal. So when we don't let them express themselves because their expression is something that we don't like the delivery of. So essentially, let's say for some examples, right? He's mad, he's angry. The imbalanced feminine, or the imbalanced woman, experiences his anger, experiences his sadness, and takes it personal and makes it about herself. rather than allowing him to experience and express his emotion in whatever way he chooses to experience that. She's got to make it about her. She's got to minimize him and make his expressions small. So what happens is that a guy falls silent because he comes to learn over time that he cannot openly express himself without getting a reaction out of you that's undesirable. And so he stops expressing himself. So what we want to do is get to the place where we can, as long as a man isn't directing his aggression and his anger directly towards you in a way that makes you unsafe, we want to be able to operate in a space where we are able to hold space for him to be in his emotional expression, whatever that is. Now, many times what we do is we challenge his expression of emotion by doing the next mistake, and that is we infantilize. And so when he is in his emotions, when he's in his expression, and let's say that's anger, that's frustration, that is, or that's like happiness, giddiness, something like that, we tell him, oh, you're so immature, you're acting childish, you need to grow up, and other expressions like that get him to the place where he feels, and he's receiving the message loud and clear from you, that his expression of emotion is not okay with you. That you need him to be able to express himself only as long as it makes you comfortable, only as long as you say that it's okay, and only as long as it fits your narrative and storyline about what his expression needs to look like. And so if you want to be in the position where you dictate what his anger looks like, what his frustration looks like, and what his happiness and what his humor looks like all of the time, you need him essentially to be different than who he is, and different from how he is. That is a huge turnoff to men. And then the last mistake that women make that is a huge turnoff for men is that we weaponize. And we do that by withholding intimacy, withholding physical touch, affection, and sex. And what I'm saying is essentially, if you are in a space where you're upset, right? There's some upset, there's some anger, there's some big elephant in the room that needs to be addressed before you can get in alignment with being, mentally, emotionally, spiritually ready to be in your body to experience a sexual interaction, then I'm not saying to violate that for yourself. There obviously needs to be communication about whatever it is that's going on, so that you can get into alignment at some point in time, because for women, it's very, the mind-heart connection and the body connection it's all intertwined, right? But what I am saying is not to utilize physical touch, intimacy, intimate experiences as a way of punishing a man in your life, your partner, because he didn't do something in some other area of life that is completely unrelated to intimacy and emotional connection. Once you start to connect those two, right, and like what he does in a completely different setting all of a sudden is starting to impact how you all are connecting on an intimate level, or not connecting on an intimate level, your man will start to withdraw from you emotionally, because sex and intimacy is one of the things that a man utilizes, one of the top ways that men stay emotionally connected to the women in their lives when they love them. So do not weaponize sex and intimacy and utilize it as a form of punishment by withholding, because it will backfire on you. You are also cutting yourself off from opportunities to meaningfully connect with your partner and to experience meaningful connection and possibly reconciliation for whatever the conflict might be, through intimacy and emotional affection, physical touch, contact, quality time in that way. Okay, I hope that that's super helpful. So it was emasculate, removing his purpose, taking it personal, and minimizing his feelings, right? He can't be in his feelings around you. Infantilizing, making him essentially, turning him into a child in your mind and expressing that whatever he's doing is childish. And then the last one was withholding and or weaponizing intimacy, sex and affection and physical contact. Okay, I hope that that's helpful. Again, the purpose of this is to support you to be able to create happier, more meaningful, healthier relationships that you can enjoy and have the time of your life in. And so let me know in the comments if this was helpful for you, and I will create another video and post very soon about the 5 things that men do that are a turn off for women. Okay, thank you so much for joining. I will talk to you soon.